Florida homeowners, it's not a question of if, but when the next hurricane will come. No matter what Florida weather has in store, Storm Smart has products that protect every opening of your home while improving the look, feel, and function. From durable aluminum shutters, high-impact windows and doors, to our innovative storm catcher screens, products that enhance the beauty of your home and keep your family safe. Because Smart is complete hurricane protection, and Smart is peace of mind. Call Storm Smart today for your free in-home consultation.
When your power goes out, remember just how inconvenient your life can be. No lights, no refrigeration, no heating or cooling, no electronics. But with the Generac Home Standby Generator, you'll have power when you need it. Our Generac generators automatically provide backup power after sensing a power outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Get a free 10-year warranty with the purchase of any air-cooled generator. Call Generac Generators today. Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A, this is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by Storm Smart. Protect every opening of your home. And Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
Hey, you know, everybody, it's a Thursday night edition of Dennis Phillips Live. Thank you so much for checking in. By the way, this may have been a first. Remember, we're on two areas. We're live right now on broadcast, on the spot, whether you're watching on Spectrum, Frontier, OTA. You know, we have the little thing going that if anybody talks politics or they start spamming, we bring out the ban button. Well, I noticed even before the show started, somebody was spamming. So you're gone. Now, I will tell you, this is not the most high-tech thing in the world, but what we're going to do today is we're going to change things up a little bit. Usually we do our hellos, we talk about weather, we do whatever y'all want to talk about. But we're going to go straight to one of my favorite places on planet Earth, and that would be Vegas. And one of my other favorite things on planet Earth is techie, geeky stuff. I mean, you guys know most weather people, most meteorologists are all about the tech, right? And the gadgetry. Well, we are going to the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, and Carolyn Posner is here from the CES. Carolyn, how you doing? Thanks for joining us on DPL.
I'm good. Thank you so much for having us. We're really, really excited to be here in Las Vegas this week.
So my question is to you, how many interviews have you already done over the last couple of days? I mean, 11 billion?
Yeah, our team has done several dozen at least of these interviews with outlets around the country. So it's pretty exciting, and we're happy to bring some of the tech that we have here to folks at home.
Now, I'm all about the techie stuff, and I've been reading about the show for the last couple of days, and I want to talk about a couple of things because I know you're on limited time. But one of the things I was reading a lot about is the fact that robotics is becoming such a big thing, but even more than that, it's becoming way less expensive. The price point seems to be coming down with robots. So tell me a little bit about that whole world.
Absolutely. Well, robotics is one of the breakout categories at CES 2026. So we are seeing robots that are getting smarter, that are getting more customized, that are getting more capable of moving around your home and office. And so one of the things we are seeing at CES 2026 is humanoid robots that can really interact with you and be a part of your everyday life. So think robot vacuums that can help pick up around your home. We have one this year that can not only move things around the way, but they can actually fold your laundry, so which is very exciting as somebody who always needs some help around the house.
Now, for the price point, because I mean, I've read over the years that we were talking hundreds of thousands of dollars for some of the highest end robots that are out there. But what I was reading that some of them are coming down to about 20 grand. I don't know if that's worth getting your laundry folded for 20 grand, but you know, my guess is as we go through the years and the technology gets better, the prices are just going to get lower.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things we see here at CES is we see some things that are concepts, some things that are defining the future and really shaping what's to come. And those are some of the really high price point robotics and other devices. But we also see robots that you can buy today, that you can go to the store and pick up off the shelf, and that can really make a tangible difference in your life.
I mean, so is this something that eventually you guys foresee being able to go to Walmart or being able to a store and there's going to be robots there? Or, I mean, is this something that it's still more of a specialized niche thing for a while?
Well, this is something in some ways you really can already go to Walmart. You know, you think about that robot vacuum, that's something that you can buy off a store shelf right now. But that has really advanced robotics technology in its ability to sort of help map your house, to avoid collisions with things, to use really advanced LiDAR. The technology that underlies these products is really incredible.
Well, the biggest thing, I don't know if it's where we all are, but the one thing that I'm seeing everywhere, you know, and everybody's talking about it, is AI. And in some ways, it's been amazing. I mean, I can tell you from a meteorological perspective, the AI computer models in hurricane season outperformed the traditional physics-based metrics models by a long shot this last year. So from my perspective, that's one way AI is really crossing over into mainstream and becoming useful. What are ways that y'all are seeing at the show where people are kind of embracing it? And maybe where are the ways that people are still pretty skeptical?
Yeah, well, we are seeing AI across the show floor in thousands of products that are here. One area that I think you might find interesting as a meteorologist is the applications for ag tech, agricultural tech. We are seeing technology that can help predict the weather, that can help farmers get the best planting advice and make sure that they maximize their yield, that can help reduce pests of their crops. So it's one of the ways that we're seeing it applied in the industrial level and sort of really the work level. We're also seeing AI in your home. So we're seeing AI in some of the devices that you might have around your wrist, in a smartwatch, or on your finger as a smart ring. You're seeing AI applied to some of the products that you use every day that help make it more personalized, that help make it really feel like it gets you. And one of the things we're seeing this year across some of our big exhibitors is really a centralized AI ecosystem. So something that can take the data that's on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop, and really bring it all together to understand who you are and what you want.
So I'm looking at some comments and questions from folks, and one of the comments, obviously, as you would expect, so when are we going to be able to have, like the Jetsons had, like Rosie the robot that'll be able to cook dinners and do things like that? I mean, is that a pipe dream, or is that something that you see in the future, maybe even the near future?
I think it's not too far away. I mean, we are already seeing fridges that can look inside your fridge, tell you what you have, and recommend recipes for you based on what's in there. We are seeing AI-powered cooking devices that can serve as a fridge when it's not in use, and then turn on and make something so it's ready for you when you come home. You know, we are seeing so many of these devices in food tech here on the show floor. We're seeing AI-powered grills. The future is really limitless, so I don't think it's a question of when, it's a question of now, and it's a question of what excites you.
Another question was, so curious to hear which gadgets feel practical versus hype this year. So I guess that question broken down would be, you know, is there gadgetry out there that you feel right now could be an everyday part of life? And maybe what are some of those that people have an opportunity to go get right now?
Yeah, well, we had a great opportunity to hear from the CEO of Aura, Aura Ring. They are technology that exists right now. You can go out and buy it if you want. They give you very, very detailed metrics on all sorts of things related to sleep, your body metrics, and a lot of people have said that it really improved their lives in very tangible ways. So that's one that I'm especially excited about. I know a number of members of our team actually wear Aura Rings and find them really useful.
So one last question, and I know this isn't necessarily AI, and this might not even be your forte. Like I'll go on an AI site, whether it's ChatGPT or whatever the case may be, and I can literally type in, write a commentary or something, Dennis Phillips style, and it is scary how it really can use my tone in what it's writing. And I guess my question is, how do y'all address the fear that comes along with people being replaced by AI technology? One
of the things we say is that this technology really augments what people can do. It augments what's possible. It really helps you, as you said, if you're typing in, I want to write something like me, it helps you understand what is your writing style. It helps you produce new content based on something that's unique to you. And that's something we see really across the AI space, is we are seeing these tools and devices amplify human capacity.
Well, it's fascinating stuff. I mean, I know for some folks it's scary. I've always been one to embrace the technology, and the show has always looked amazing. So again, thank you so much for your time. One more day, right? You guys close up shop tomorrow?
One more day. We have one more day of the show floor, and we encourage people to visit us at ces.tech. We'll have a lot of our content. We'll have live show floor interviews, and you can watch all of those even after the show wraps. Awesome.
Carolyn, thank you so much. Carolyn Posner, live from CES in Vegas. Really appreciate your time. You have a great night.
You as well.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Well, that was pretty awesome and really interesting stuff, I think. I mean, we obviously hear a lot about AI, and it is interesting to me because sometimes, I just mentioned it. It's kind of experimental for me, like when I'm trying to create a graphic or maybe trying to come up with just something interesting or a voice. It is pretty crazy just how accurate and how the tone can mimic you. And I get it. I mean, I talked about this earlier. I find it fascinating because my kids, who you would think, and this is just me talking out loud or thinking out loud, but you would think that the younger generation might be more embracing of AI and the technology that comes along with it. But I'll tell you, of my kids, the majority of them are not into it. They don't like what it represents. They don't trust what it represents. And I just find that fascinating. You would think that the younger generation, being submerged by that from day one in their lives, would be more welcoming to it, but not. So anyway, Carolyn, thank you very, very much for joining us. I really appreciate it. We're going to hit our first break, and we'll be back with a look at our weather because we got big changes coming up as DPL continues. Wow, that was actually a segment that worked. You know what? How amazing it is when the computer doesn't freeze up. I just don't even know what to say. It might jinx it now, but dang, that was actually really, really interesting. I enjoyed that. So, and by the way, thank you for the reminder of breaks because honestly, I almost forgot about it. Kevin's like, I don't need anything mimicking me. One is enough. And I totally get that. But, it's one of those things where you're kind of experimenting with it. And it's like anything new. You test it out and see what you're comfortable with and what the limits are and I think the reality, this is just my opinion, but the reality of it is there ain't no way to get around it. This is going to be a part of what we are, who we are, and how we move forward in the workplace and in our personal lives. It just is. I mean, you can choose to ignore it and choose to say, I'm not going to take part in it. Like my kids, I told you guys this, I have Google set up to almost all my lights and my plugs. Hey, Google, turn on the Christmas village. Hey, Google, turn on the Christmas trees. Hey, individual ones as well. So, I mean, I'm big into that. They will not do it. They're just opposed to the concept. So, I guess we're in that area now where we're, trying to find out who's with it. But I personally am. I mean, I am. I like the technology. So we are back. We are back. I didn't think we were back that quick, but we are. We are back on Dennis Phillips Live. So we got a lot to talk about. Want to mention one more thing. So if you remember a few weeks ago, we talked about Oyster Fest. Oyster Fest fundraiser and a great time is coming up this Saturday. All right, it is this Saturday. I'm going to be there helping with MC duties and helping out with the celebrity area, helping the bartenders out there, just kind of helping folks out and whatnot. And if there is a very limited number of tickets still available, it is an amazing time. It's like Forrest Gump. It's like Forrest Gump with shrimp, with Bubba. We got sauteed shrimp. We got fried shrimp. Well, they have the same thing with oysters. They got raw oysters, they got steamed oysters, they got baked oysters, they got all sorts of oysters. And then they also have low boil, and they also have lots and lots of other stuff. So if you are interested in going to Oyster Fest this weekend, this Saturday, go to TampaOysterFest.com, I believe is the web address. Yep, TampaOysterFest.com. And if you get the tickets tonight or tomorrow, I believe, you can put in the promo DPL20 and you get $20 off the price. So kind of a cool thing, big charity event, great oysters. I will be there all day on Saturday. I think it's from 1 to 5 or 1 to 6, one of those two. And if you get a chance, stop on by. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, let's jump in to the weather and see what's going on. Wow, we got lots of stuff going on, lots to talk about. So the new drought numbers are out. They're updated every Thursday, and this doesn't look much different than it did last week. You notice northern Pinellas, northern Hillsborough, Pasco, that's still from that rain we had about 3 weeks ago where we had 5, 6, 7 inches of rain, and that helped out a lot. But most of the area in some kind of a drought. And if I've said this once, I'll say it a million times. Mike, how you doing, my friend? So Mike from Mike's Weather Page is here. And later on next month, we are going to have Mike as well as OMG It's Wicks on DPL again because the Florida Man event is going on again. And if you remember, we talked with OMG It's Wicks last year. I think OMG It's Wicks, I just like saying OMG It's Wicks because the guy's hysterical. If you don't know who he is, you need to follow him on Instagram. He's going to be emceeing the Florida Man events. And Mike, I believe, has a team together from Pinellas County to take part. That was what I heard secondhand. So we are going to have Mike and OMG It's Wicks on the show to talk about the Florida Man competitions, which I think is coming up next month. I believe it is. And so that's something. Anyway, but what I was talking about, look, bottom line, guys, we live in Florida. 90% of the time, we're going to have a drought in the wintertime. We are, right? So, I mean, I get it. You know, you hear, oh, we have a burn ban and, oh, we're in a drought. Yes, and those are significant events. But they shouldn't surprise anybody because 90% of the time, we have a drought or we're in burn bans in the wintertime for a number of reasons. Because we don't get a lot of rain in the winter, which is why everybody comes visit us. And then there's the other argument, do we have so many people in the hashtag we're full area where now we have less water to use because we have more people than we know what to do with. There is that mentality, and that is truly a Florida mentality for a lot of folks. I don't get into the politics of it. I'm just saying that is something people think. But at the end of the day, seeing drought numbers this time of the year should not be surprising. And yes, it is concerning. Yes, brush fire dangers are a real thing, especially when we get into the spring. But it certainly should not be a big surprise to anybody. Tammy in Brooksville, how you doing? Okay, there you go. Mike says it's February 21st, the Freedom Factory. I don't even know where that is. Howard, Oyster Fest is in Tampa. It's in the location. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to find it myself. If you go on TampaOysterFest.com, you can find it. It's at one of the parks. I'm trying to find it as we're talking, but go on their website and you can find it. And yeah, it's a blast. And if you like oysters, even if you don't like oysters, it's a great event. All right, so let's go ahead and look at what we got going on here. So we've had fog the last couple of mornings. We're going to have some fog tomorrow. The dew points are still high. The temperatures are still warm. Yes, Sandy, I mean, we have a fire season. Absolutely. And that fire season is historically spring. So, I mean, it is what we've kind of grown accustomed to. So when you see temperatures in the 70s and you have dew points in the 60s, you're going to have more fog. But I think it'll be a little less widespread tomorrow than it was this morning. And Howard just asked about that as well. So we had highs today in the low to mid 80s. We were flirting with some record-breaking highs. But when you have calm winds, as you see right now, you have high dew points, you're going to have fog, especially when the ground is kind of cool after a stretch of cold weather, which we had over the holidays. We were 10 degrees above average today. We were 9 degrees above average this morning. And while there will be some fog tomorrow, and it will be widespread, I don't think we'll be looking at quite the widespread dense fog we had today. But I want you to check something out. Look at tomorrow afternoon inland. Check that out. So the models are so convinced that we're having all that warm air out there. With a Gulf breeze, we might see a little bit of a sea breeze shower developing tomorrow evening inland. And with an east-southeast flow, whatever's out there does try to go to the west. See that? 6 o'clock tomorrow, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then it moves through. So if we are lucky, we might see some showers. If you do not get showers, it's because you made poor life choices. Let's just call them like we see them. Poor life choices mean no rain. I've learned that over the years, which is why I never get rain where I live. That's another story. But that is a look at Futurecast tomorrow. But a front comes in on Sunday, and you can see over my shoulder, over that shoulder, our temperatures are going to drop. And they're going to get even chillier toward the end of next week. We'll talk about that in 90 seconds as DPL continues. Okay, thank you for the break reminder, guys. I do appreciate it. Because, did I say 6'7", Mike? You know, we talk about that a lot on the show lately. My daughter, actually, you know what? I called Ryan a couple days ago, and because the temperature in Tampa was 67, and she's like, she made a comment kind of like, yeah, we're over it, Dad. And that shocks me because every time, up until maybe a week ago, those numbers come out of my mouth. And, you know, Ryan, because she's 11, and that's what they all do. So anyway, maybe that will be I think it's going to be a short-lived thing because it's already old. But even for the 11-year-olds, apparently it's getting old, and that is saying something. So thank you for the break reminder, by the way, guys. But yeah, so the Florida Man competition next month. And yeah, it's, you know, we got some interesting weather coming up over the next few weeks, starting next week. And then there's all this talk about colder weather and potentially winter weather across the Deep South. And I got on my soapbox a couple of days ago talking about that, and I don't have time to do it tonight. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. I'm not on the spot tomorrow. We have women's hockey on tomorrow, but we will be on Facebook. All right, we are back in 3, 2. Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. Thanks for checking in. So we talked about some fog tomorrow. Dense fog, yes, but not widespread dense fog. It'll be more patchy in nature. And then from there, watch the temperatures drop. So let's talk a little bit more about that. All right, so when the front comes through Sunday, if we're really lucky, we actually might see a shower. But there's, like I said, tomorrow, whatever fog's out there earlier on, burns off by 11 o'clock, and we have another beautiful day. Saturday morning, kind of the same setup. Some patchy fog, dense in a few spots. Ren, how you doing? Good to see you. And, oh, Lynn, you were in Denver, never got cold. Yeah, my daughter said the same thing. It was ridiculously warm out there. So there's your highs tomorrow, up around record-breaking highs. Saturday, kind of the same setup. But there we go. Sunday, a front comes in. Monday and Tuesday, we're lower 70s, and a stronger front comes in midweek with even chillier air. Now, with both fronts, you would like to think maybe there's the chance of a shower. Unfortunately, it doesn't look that way. How you doing, Red? Good to see you. Nice to see you, Laura. Nancy, nice to see you as well. Marie, nice to see you. So on Sunday, you see the showers come through, scattered at best, and then another area rolls in the middle of next week. And we'll show you that in the models in just a second. Partly cloudy overnight. You see the models not showing nearly as much fog as we had this morning. Great day at the beach. Whatever fog's out there, and there won't be a lot, will burn off. And we have a stellar day with sunny skies and warm temperatures, highs in the mid-70s. And there is the 7-day. 83 tomorrow, 81 on Saturday, maybe a shower on Sunday, and maybe another shower toward the middle of next week. All right? But when you take a look at some of the long-range models, specifically the GFS, they have been showing the possibility of some snow toward the end of next week across the Tennessee Valley, maybe across portions of the Deep South. And the GFS does GFS things. Remember what it does with long-range hurricane forecasts? Well, it does the same malarkey, anything long-range 2 weeks out, and develops low pressure in the Gulf, which would be awesome if it happened because we get some rain out of it. But more than likely, As always is the case, the GFS is overplaying it. We'll talk more about that long range. We'll talk about the cold and finish up in 90 seconds as DPL continues. All right. It does go by fast, Karen, doesn't it? And that's a good thing. Joel, how you doing? Good to see you. It's a flattering thing when people say, gosh, the show goes so fast. That must mean it's not as horribly boring as I'm afraid it might be sometimes. And when we have a special guest, like we had with Carolyn earlier on, talk about that. We got a lot of guests scheduled over the next 5 or 6 weeks. Florida State Fair is coming up. I'm going to be live there on February 5th. We've got lots and lots of other stuff. Jocelyn, my producer / handler, she's working it, trying to get as many interesting guests. Because let's be honest, if there's no weather going on, me sitting here talking, boring you for 30 minutes is not anybody's idea of a good time. So we're trying to come up with ways to keep it a little more interesting before hurricane season starts. All right, we are in our last 30 seconds. So Marcia is apparently a big fan of playing with new gadgets. So Marcia is a fan of gadgets and gizmos aplenty. But what about who's its and what's its galore? Curious about that. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up. We have 15 seconds left, and I will take the models back because we'll have 3 minutes left for the TV folks, and we got a football game to watch. Ole Miss in Miami. We got college football playoffs. Down in 3, 2. Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. We just had a lot of folks. If you're watching on TV, follow along on Facebook at the same time, because that's where all the action is. That's where all the scandalous comments end up coming up. And we're talking about gadgets and gizmos. We're talking about tech, and we're talking about a big football game starting in about 20 minutes with the Ole Miss Rebels taking on the Canes of Miami. So are you rooting for Miami being a Florida team? Or if you're a fan of the Gators or the Noles or the Knights or the Bulls, do you detest the Hurricanes and you want to beat them to the ground? Or do you support the Florida mentality? I'm curious about that. I struggle with that. I'm not really sure. I personally, and then the whole Ole Miss thing, because their coach, Lane Kiffin, who left the team high and dry. So part of me is wanting to see them do really well, just to kind of give it to Lane Kiffin. It's like, yeah, you left this, watch. You're going to get a national championship out of it. Denise wants to know, oh, it's already on? Jules, I did not know it's already on. Well, who's winning? Wait a minute, stand by. Give me an update on the score. Oh, Miami got a first down on 4th and 2. I did not know it's on. Really? It didn't start at 8:15? Well, realistically, I probably would have taken Ole Miss. The line was about 3. Miami was a 3-point favorite. But I did. I kind of liked Ole Miss. I don't know why. Not say, that was just what my pick was. But honestly, I wasn't really that big on it. But I did kind of like Ole Miss. All right, here's one last look at the models. All right, we're going to start with the GFS. Friday, Saturday. There comes the front, and the showers just kind of fizzle out on Sunday afternoon. We might be lucky to get a quick shower. Look for the cold air behind it, 540 line. There's very little on Monday. There's very little on Tuesday. But a secondary front, look at the blue line. Look at the 540 line in Louisiana by the middle of next week, right? That swings another front through, maybe even weak low pressure developing. See that coastal low? And if that coastal low develops, that swings in colder air. Does the Euro show it? It does. It's not identical, but it's pretty darn close. So both systems develop, both models, and that will swing colder air through. And next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be much colder. And then the GFS does its nonsense that it always does. It's why I tell you guys in hurricane season to ignore the GFS, because it's a bunch of malarkey. Well, it does the same thing in the wintertime with winter storms as opposed to hurricanes. So if you're watching on streaming and the spot, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for Carolyn Posner from the CES for stopping in and saying hi. We are not on the spot tomorrow night, but we will be live on the socials and streaming. Have a great night, and we will see you on the next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. And we are on a break. See, I actually have a little TV over here now, so I can actually see when the commercials hit, because that dates back to the fact that I was hitting commercial breaks at a time that we weren't even on TV. I'm like, why is this button not working? It's because we weren't even on TV. We were supposed to be on TV, but apparently we weren't, or I don't know what happened. So now they gave me a TV. So I am self-sufficient. If I had one of those robots Carolyn talked about, maybe I could do a better job. But right now, I got my... I always wonder if I hit this button right now, would it go to another commercial break? I don't think it would, but it might. I don't want to take a chance because they'll take it away from me. Well, I got to go watch a football game, guys. I mean, I got to watch a football game. We've talked about it. Fog in the morning. Let's go back to the 7-day. Fog in the morning, not as dense as it was today. Sunny and warm in the afternoon. Sunny and warm on Saturday. Clouds building Sunday. Front comes through. A little cooler Monday and Tuesday. But then that stronger system comes in on Wednesday. And again, you can see it right here. Here's the GFS. Right there. Right there. See that? And then here's the Euro. A little farther north, but still develops it. And when low pressure develops, it counterclockwise flow brings the cold air in from the northeast, and you see that 540 line. The Euro has it all the way down to the panhandle next weekend. That is some cold. I am going to brief, you know what, I was going to talk about the whole snow thing. Look, most of the models are saying no. The GFS, a couple of the ensemble runs are saying there might be a little snow across the deep south. You know my take on it. My take on long-range hurricane forecasts are very different from my take on long-range snow forecasts. If somebody wants to go out there and do a long-range snow, first of all, I don't care anyway, because people are going to do whatever they want to, and it's none of my business, right? I always tell people like, because there's some weather people out there, oh, you know, I don't like people posting the long-range models because then they come to me, all these messages, and they think it's going to, and I have to set them straight. Well, you know what? That's good for you, because they come to you, and you set them straight. And they'll eventually realize that that other source doesn't know what they're talking about, and they just hype stuff, and because of that, they will lose their audience. And that is what's going to happen. And there's a couple in particular across the Deep South, not locally, but across the Deep South that do that. And they post model after model after model, and it's wrong 99% of the time. They don't address that it's wrong all the time, but it is, because all models are wrong 2 weeks out. And the one time it's right, you'll be like, oh, I got it right. You know what? Good. That's good. It's fine. People do what they want to do. We're grown-ups. You guys will follow who you want to. You guys will listen to who you want to. And if you find somebody that you think is interesting, but they're not accurate, you know, maybe you'll watch somebody else. But whatever. It's snow we're talking about. Maybe there might be a couple of snowflakes in central Alabama or in Mississippi or Louisiana. Whatever. Most people would embrace that. Like 99% of the people out there would probably embrace that. Hurricane season, I think it's different. Because if someone's posting 2 weeks out, a Cat 5 is going to hit people. It's the same philosophy, because we get them. I get them all the time. People message me, hey, I'm seeing there's going to be this. And I'll respond, nope, don't listen to them. All right, that's all. It's not a big deal. So we are hearing a lot of those reports, and I'll show you why. Because some of the models are showing the potential, mostly the GFS, that there could be a little bit of snow across the Deep South. Here's the ensembles. And there they are. That would be on like day 11. So that's like January 18th. Little bit of snow across the Deep South. That's what a few of the ensembles are showing. Now you ask how many? Not many. Check it out. So here's the Euro ensembles. All right, and look at them. This is 25 of the Euro ensembles. There's a couple of them that are showing some snow. That's the colors right there. You know, the blues, see the colors right there? There's a couple. And then you can look at the next ones and see what they look like. But here's the other ensembles. So overall, my point is, look, you know what? People are going to do what they want to. If they respect you and they're interested in what you have to say, they'll follow you. And if they don't, and they want to do something else, they'll follow somebody else. Whatever, right? We keep our group together. I think over the years, we've developed a trust and a relationship. So My point is, if it's going to snow, I'll let you know. But there ain't no snow coming to the deep south right now. There's not. Although a year ago, January 20th or whenever it was, we had quite a snowstorm. So you never say never, right? Okay. I'm going to go watch football. We'll be back tomorrow night on streaming as well as social. We'll talk about the fog. We'll talk about the rain. We'll talk about any kind of potential snow. And we'll talk about whatever you want to on tomorrow night's edition of Dennis Phillips Live. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.